This is not a very big park. The lake is pretty good size, but other than being cold out here, looks like a beautiful place. We'll kind of pan around here so we can start checking this park out. Down this area over here is going to be like the boat ramps where you can launch your boats. They do have a swimming area back over a little bit farther on around. A lot of picnic tables. Don't see much. Well, there are some barbecue grills out here. I guess it looks like pretty much every table has a barbecue grill, but no, the tables look like they've seen better days where their weather pretty good. They probably need to do some work on replacing a lot of the tops and the seats in them. There is a fish cleaning station over here. Plenty of parking. You know, if you're bringing a boat, you have plenty of parking. If you're just coming for your day use to swim with the kids and, you know, have a cookout, picnic. There are plenty of places. A little warning sign here kind of talks about snakes in the water, so you know, got to be careful. Walk over here. That's the island over there on the other side. There's a trail that goes around the island, and it's 0.9 tenths of a mile around there. There's a little boat dock here where you can kind of tie up your boat or load on your boat. Of course, there's another one over there. That's the bridge that goes over to the island, which is where we're going. Like I say, it's pretty windy, so hopefully that wind's not going to do too bad. I know I was at Lake Talcani the other day, and that wind up there was something else. That, you know, it did interfere with, you know, a lot of my audio parts. So got like a fishing dock that sits over here. Water is a little choppy because of the wind. here. It tells you a little information. We're going up here on the Island Trail is where we're at. We're right there at that point, coming across the bridge. And I'll kind of walk around here and check it out. We'll go this way. Because I don't believe they allowed bikes over here, so I've got a few people over here fishing. Try to keep this camera as steady as I can. It's kind of hard to do when you're walking. Basically talking about, you know, make sure you kind of clean up, you know, all your trash out. There are a lot of birds out here. Now I'm not sure, possibly where these picnic tables are is where you can set up a tent. Let's see, that goes to the trail. But I see a sign down yonder. I don't know if I can zoom into it or not. There's a little sign down there that says campers only. So I guess down in there where you would set up, you know, for your tents. I'll kind of walk down around here. Now there is no water or electric out here. Restroom is close. It's right across the bridge, but you know. But I do see on some of these over here there is a fire pit. So I guess you are able to have fires out here. But this would be a great place to come and tent camp. You got a lantern pole hook here, picnic table. Like I say, these tables, you know, they need some work. They're not in the best of shape anymore. Your fire pit grill, and then of course you're right here on the water where you like to do fishing. You got places to fish, and of course they got these numbered down through here for the sites. Not sure how many sites, but I'll give that information in the video on pricing, and same with the campsites, a little information on that, things to do here, as well as what these trails look like. So, yeah, as you can see, these tables not in the best of shape. I'm using two cameras here. I got my body camera going, which is usually a little bit more, not as shaky as my handheld one where I'm carrying it, especially when you're walking. It is kind of hard, so I apologize for that portion of the video, but I'm trying to keep it as steady as I can. So I'm going to walk the trail here. There are still a lot of green bushes out here, but you know, definitely got some tall pines. They got to be 100 foot or better, I would say. Yeah, it won't be long. You know, things will start greening up again. Start seeing some wildflowers come out. Trees are going to start budding and getting their leaves, as well as, you know, a lot of the grass and other bushes. And I've already seen coming up that some of the dogwood trees are already starting to show their colors. Maybe if I slow down my walk a little bit, it won't be quite as shaky. Well, it's pretty dense over here, so if there are any animals over here on the island, they definitely got some places to hide. Walking and looking at the same time, but if you're doing that while you're walking the trails and looking around, you know, there are like stumps that are sticking up out of the ground where, you know, roots. Well, make sure you're kind of paying attention where you're going, because you might be tripping over something. Based on that tree, it's pretty good size, but not quite as big as pines up there at Tyler State Park. Those were some huge trees, and that place is definitely beautiful. So, you know, but it is pretty thick through here, so it's cool. Like I say, a lot of birds I hear. Of course, they're way up there where can't hardly see them or tell what they are, but I definitely hear them. Yeah, I'd recommend, if you're around Tyler, Texas, stopping by and checking that park out. They got some awesome trails to hike. It is definitely beautiful. See a lot of bugs flying around, but I guess you're going to have that out here when you're out in the woods or around water. Don't seem to be like mosquitoes or anything, but there are definitely bugs out here flying around. Sign tells you trailhead. Of course, there's all kinds of little paths that look like it comes off the trail, so kind of hard to tell where the main trail is, but of course back that way is the tent campsites only. I don't think they are allowed to, you know, camp out here anywhere. But yeah, there's some rocks right there. They're sticking up out of the ground, and that one there. So be careful when you're out here walking. I would say that was probably the trail, and I've got a path going down this way. It looks like it might just be going to the lake, but we'll take a walk down here and, you know, check it out. Once you get back over here in the wooded area where the trees are, the wind, I guess the trees and everything, bushes, kind of block that wind out of coming off of the lake, so it's not as bad here as it is over there in the parking lot or going across that bridge, because I'll tell you, that was pretty cold over there blowing. I had to put my hood up on my hoodie. That looks like a little place to go fish. Oh, got a lot of ducks out here. camera's probably not doing it justice. I need to get me a lens to magnify where I can basically zoom in a lot closer. But yeah, there's a lot of ducks out here, just out here kind of swimming around. Kind of panning around the lake. Yeah, back over that way, that's a day use area and the boat docks and swimming area. Looks like possibly another boat dock back over there. And then I guess that's the dam over there. Yeah, this is just a fishing area here. Nice little spot. You know, come in and do some little fishing. Water looks like it's pretty clear. Let's continue on. Yeah, my grandson was supposed to have come with me today, but something come up where he wasn't able to make it, so I'm kind of on the lone hike, checking out the trails. Well, it's not totally flat, you know, you got a little bit of inclines and on the trail. But like I say, watch out for the roots, because you know they are, you know, sticking above the ground. I mean, it's not much of an incline, not like Tyler State Park. Those were some trails that, for me, it was a workout going up and down some of those little hills. Yeah, this will be beautiful out here when it totally greens up all these trees. Get green again. There'll be a lot of shade. Right now that sun feels pretty good though, so I'm not complaining. I don't know if you can hear the power plant in the background, but yeah, it's definitely pretty loud. But I'm sure that probably doesn't bother too many people. I mean, it doesn't bother me, because I still, in a way, a lot less noise than what I hear in the city, between traffic and construction and, you know, a lot of people talking, and all the vehicles driving by. flying overhead and trying to figure out what that kind of whistling sound was. So I guess it's kind of a jet path through here. You will hear those. It's pretty cool out here though. Oh, it is an intuitive trail also. It talks about not quite sure how to pronounce that. Hercules Club. I guess it's kind of a thorny type tree. Maybe what this tree is here. Looks like the top broke out of it though. But it does have some intuitive signs on it. Yeah, you probably could go off trail here and check out other little areas, because it does have like little, I guess you could call paths that kind of go off of the trail. I mean, it's not like you could get lost out here just being on a little island. You're eventually going to come to something. I'm kind of going downhill here a little bit, so this looks pretty cool. If I was in the land of Oz, walking through them woods, I'd probably have to be saying lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Yeah, definitely watch where you're walking. I find it nice to walk a little ways so I can see where I'm going, and then kind of stop every now and then, look around, check out the scenery. Well, this is a cool little area down in here. I like this. It's thick. This would be a good place to hide behind one of these big trees and wait for my grandson to come through and ambush him, jump out and scare him. Of course, it don't take much to scare him. He'll be doing something, I'll just walk up behind him. Of course, I don't make a lot of noise when I walk, so I get right behind him and just stand there, and he turns around and he'll jump because he didn't know I was there. I've got little benches out here. That's cool. Like another jet going over. Hear that whistling sound, so I don't know what's going to be worse, hearing the jets going over or listening to the power plant. Little path goes back through there, possibly another place to go fishing, but I do believe this is the trail. This is the way we're going. Yeah, you're definitely going to see some birds back in here. Got one right up there on the ground. Kind of hopping around, look like possibly a sparrow of some sort. is quiet over here other than the noise from the power plant and jets going over. Another tentative sign, a plaque, however you want to call it. Yuppin? Is that how you pronounce that? Yuppin holly? Kind of a berry bush. Maybe that's what this one kind of bush I've been trying to figure out what it was for a long time. I don't know if you can see it. See if I can get close enough to it. It's kind of hard to see as dark as it in here. See if I can find a bare spot. It's got some like berries on it. But I guess that's what a lot of this green bush is here. If this wasn't on an island, I bet there'd be all kinds of wildlife out here. But unless the deer and the raccoons and the squirrels want to use the bridge coming over or swim, I don't think you're going to see much over here than, probably just birds. Path going back through there, probably going to another spot to fish. Now you will notice in videos on my channel that basically there's series on the parks. Because it's kind of hard to, get all the information or video, campsites and the trails, in one video, unless I just did like little pieces, to put together for a video. But to me, that doesn't really, show you a lot. So I usually wind up just doing a series where I can get a little more information, a little more detail on these parks. So, and it's just going to depend on the size of the park, how many trails, how long they are, as to how many videos I might have out on this series. So but either way, I believe they're, worth checking out. Definitely, this park is under a flight path. Of course, it may be more active during the day than the night. That'll be something I'll have to check out when I come to spend a couple days, to see if that is like that during the night too. That tree kind of comes down, the root just goes right across the path here. So like I say, watch where you're walking. That's one thing I've never talked that much about, since I've basically started this channel and doing videos, is back when I was a kid, when I was younger, let's put it that way, we had forest that was close to the house, and a lot of woods, a lot of lakes. I used to to go out and just hike through them. Of course, you know, you didn't have trails like you do here at the state parks. You know, you just went out and hiked through the woods. Basically, kind of made your own trail. You know, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. But I guess about 2-3 months ago, one of my daughters called me and said they were fixing to go to a park and hike a trail. Wanted to know if I wanted to go. And I thought, well, sure. You know, it's been a long time since I've gotten out with nature and done something like that. Little path that goes up through there. I don't think it goes very far. It looks like it kind of curves back around. Anyways, I said, sure, you know. It's been a while since I've done something like that. So, went to a park that's close to where we live. And, yeah, I got out there hiking on the trail. It was not a bad trail. I mean, it had obstacles like you do at most parks, rocks and roots and little ditches where water runs off and makes like a little trench. But it was about, I guess, a little over a mile trail. And yeah, I could tell I was way out of shape for that, because I think I made it possibly maybe a quarter of a mile, maybe not even that. And oh, my legs were aching. I was out of energy. And I thought, definitely, I am not in shape for this kind of activity. But the worst part about it was, I enjoyed every bit of it. You know, brought back a lot of memories. And I thought, oh, I need to start doing this again. You know, kind of get out and enjoy nature. And I don't know where that path goes. It doesn't look like it goes, but maybe down to the water. But yeah, enjoy nature. You know, see wildlife. And you know, it's peaceful. You know, these parks are beautiful. And being able to hear the sounds of nature and see the different plant life, the trees, and you know, it is just awesome as can be. So I mean, that's kind of one reason I got into you know, doing these videos. Another tentative sign, loblolly pine. Yeah, I've seen these. Oh, and it's way up there. At other parks, loblolly pines. I think they have them in up there at Tyler State Park. Well, I see. I don't know if this is a dogwood tree here, but I'm already starting to see some color. I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but it looks like a little pinkish purple type buds coming off of it, like it's getting ready to flower. Of course, it's hard to see through my screen, but you know, it might show up a little bit better in the video. But that's kind of how I got started in doing videos. And I figured, well, I better get out there and do a lot of hiking on trails, kind of easy ones to start. You know, kind of getting back in shape, building up the muscles, and you know, it's gotten a lot better. I can go further distance. I mean, I even took on a couple challenging trails at Tyler. You know, it was a workout. I had to stop several times, but you know, bench seat here right by the water where you can go fishing or just take in the view. Back over here on the windy side. A little bit wind blowing through here. But yeah, just take my time and, you know, check things out, enjoy nature. You know, love it when I see some wildlife. You know, some deer, squirrels, raccoons, armadillos. You know, different type of birds. Yeah, it's enjoyable. Kind of a clearing through here, a little different. This is, I don't know what type of trees these are, but they won't be looking like this much longer. They'll all be green again. They're kind of open field with high grass, and you know, that's a good place. They would have bugs and everything for birds to come and feed off of. And a lot of people come to these parks to camp out. They see all this dead wood that's laying here on the ground from the trees that have fallen over, the branches have broke off. Parks do have a rule. You cannot gather any of the fire or any of the wood that are in these parks to take back to your camp for a campfire. I always wondered, you know, well, I would think that you'd be glad to get a lot of this dead wood out of here, you know, in case by some chance there was a wildfire. You know, you wouldn't have all that dead wood that would just basically, to me, would be fueling the fire. But the reason they kind of get me behind that is that, you know, even after these trees die, break, all hit the ground, whatever, it still provides. Ooh, I see an armadillo over here. There is armadillos out here. Let's go over here and check my buddy out. Hey, Arma. Just over here rooting through the ground, getting him some snacks. I would have thought there wouldn't have been any. Oh, he can move right along here. He's hopping like a rabbit almost in a way. Yeah, I think being over here on the island, it probably wouldn't have any animals over here, but well, he just proved me wrong. I just happened to glance over here, kind of where this little opening was, and kind of saw movement out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Stopping every now and then and look around. You might see something that kind of gets your interest, like some wildlife. That's pretty cool. How awesome is this place? Really be cool if I see a deer out here. That would really kind of blow my mind. Kind of get my curiosity up on how it got over here. I don't know, who knows? Maybe at nighttime when there's not people out walking around, it's dark. Maybe they would come across the bridge. Don't know. Drop down that comment box and leave your thoughts on that. little area that probably has water that runs off down through here. Probably gets a little swampy. Yeah, we were just over there and kind of went back up around and circled and come back down this side. Looks like I'm fixing to have to change my battery out here. So I'm going to shut this camera off and just go off of my GoPro for now. And of course, come across something, I'll have a new battery in my camera and I can turn it back on. Yeah, I guess those trees would be beneficial on the ground, the bugs and everything for armadillos. 'Cause I'm sure they probably root through them and, you know, eat the bugs. Seeing that there's only I think 3 trails here at this park. Of course, I'm on the shortest one right now, but I mean, I came kind of early, so hopefully I'll be able to maybe hike all the trails and complete this park in one day. But like I say, there's going to be more than one video, because it would be a long video if I try to put everything I've done here in one. So, you know, kind of break it up into parts. I've got some, I don't know if you can see, I guess these are dogwood trees, because I'm seeing white flowers here. Get out my other camera, see if I can't possibly maybe get that in here. You might be able to see the white flower. It's already coming out on these. Because you can see the seeds that are on here, fixing the bud. Yeah. And it's almost the end of February and the weather's already started warming up. Got some little cobwebs here, I guess, I don't know, spiders, possibly. Kind of like almost like a, well, I don't know how to describe that. Looks almost fuzzy looking, kind of a light green. Yeah. Colors are coming out. Got more of them down here. Dogwoods are getting white on them. Of course, Going to depend on which direction I'm pointing my camera. But we're coming up on an intuitive tree. Well, I guess it's not dogwood, it's a Mexican plum. I don't know if it has any type of fruit to it, but I guess it does have like a tart fruit from what it says. And butterflies, looks like birds kind of like this area, so that's pretty cool. Of course, through the trees over there is the power plant, which we're getting down here close to this side where you'll see it, so it does get a little bit louder. Not too bad you can't come out here and just wherever you want to find a spot, you can find a spot and just set up a tent and camp out. But you have to camp out in the designated areas. Alright. Winged elm. I saw that at the Intuitive Trail in the Tawakanni State Park. Another area to get down to the lake. I'll walk down here and check it out. Just heard something in the bush here. Probably a bird. See a branch in there moving, but don't know if there's a bird on it or whether it's the wind, because we do have a breeze blowing through here. We might be messing with my audio, so I'm down here and see if I could get a better look around. Power plant's right there. Of course, the lake goes on back up around that direction. I guess kind of down through these bushes here. Looks like possibly where the dam was built to hold all this water in here. I'm going to shut this camera back off till we come to something else interesting. Looks like a little game trail through there. Don't know. Definitely beautiful. definitely enjoy this. Got a little drop off here, so not bad, but if you're not paying attention where you're going, well, you know what might happen. So there's another intuitive sign right here. I'm going to point that one down and see if we'll pick it up. They had this one at the Talcott State Park also. A common persimmon, which each fall the birds and mammals alike go wild over this. I guess it's kind of a fruit. So I guess that's what some of these trees are over here, or bushes. Common persimmon. First person I met out here hiking, coming. Now, I would have thought, being out here on an island, there wouldn't be any wildlife over here other than birds. But I ran into an armadillo right back around the curve back there.
Oh, really?
That
I always run into deers around here.
Oh, you see deer out here? I was kind of curious, being on an island, if, you know, like deer, raccoons, squirrels, or...
I've seen bunnies, deer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I kind of changed my mind on, well, I guess on an island they do have animals.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Have a good day. Well, she kind of answered that question for me. That, yeah, there is wildlife on here. Another tentative. This is a honey locust. I guess that's pretty common in the state of Texas on a lot of wooded areas, because I saw that also at the Talcott State Park. Well, if they have all those animals out here, I've checked one off the list, Mr. Armadillo. Of course, I think I scared him as I was trying to get a little closer to take a video of him, but he jumped and took off towards the thicker area of woods, which I didn't think they could move that fast, but yeah, I guess they can if they have to. I guess I've seen too many cartoons as a kid that I always thought when they got scared or whatever, they just kind of curled up into a ball, you know, where it would kind of protect them. A pine tree here, and it's not a very soft needle. I'm not sure what kind of pine it is. Do now. It's a eastern red cedar. Butterflies and birds, you know, kind of attracted to it. I guess birds are, because I hear one up here behind me, somewhere up here in the tree. Don't know what kind it is, but definitely hear him. If you know the sound of that bird, what kind of bird it is, please leave me a comment. I used to know a lot of the different type trees and birds and animals. Of course, that was a long time ago, and I don't remember much of that anymore. So I'm basically kind of learning as I go again. But I didn't realize that there was that many species of birds. I think there's over 600 some different species of bird in the state of Texas alone. And that kind of amazes me. It's a nice little shaded area, pretty cool. Yeah, I could probably bring me a little fold chair and just set it up and kind of hang out here for a while. Seeing if there's any wildlife kind of around. One thing about it, if there are any deer out here, as thick as it is, they could definitely hide. I mean, I might be walking by some of them right now and they're just still watching me, but I can't see them. A little inlet down there where the lake kind of comes back up in. I guess where the water kind of runs off the island here and goes out through. Oh, that's a big tree. Still not quite as big as the one at Purtis Creek Park. I know my daughter and two of her friends, they kind of held hands and kind of wrapped themselves around the tree, see if all three of them could, you know, completely reach around that tree. Well, they did, but they only had about a foot to spare. So, two people were not going to reach around the tree. So it took all three of them to do it. Got some roots sticking up out of the ground here, coming off these big pines. See a lot of birds. A lot of pine cones on the ground. Now they got what's left of a tree. It looked like it had been burnt. I don't know if they had a little fire here or if they do controlled burns out here. Don't know. There's an old dead tree. I don't know if I'm trying to hold my GoPro, try to capture it, but don't know whether I am or not. Hopefully I am. I guess I'll find out when I go back through all the video if it was in there. Now my handheld cam, yeah, I've been able to do it because it has a screen on it where I can, you know, see where I'm aiming, what I'm videoing of. There's a boat out on the water, so I guess you can use a motor boat out on this lake, as there are some of the state parks and their lakes. It's only idle speed or trolling motor, no wakes allowed. I don't know if I'm going to get all 3 trails in, but I'll at least get 2 of them in. Because I'm just about at the end of this when I'm back out here where I guess I kind of started. Yeah, because over there is a campsite. That way, this way, campsite only. There might be more campsites over here on this side, I don't know. But I came down that path there, so I'm going to walk back in here because it says campers only. So there must be some places to tent camp back here. Well, it wouldn't be very hard bringing your gear back in from the parking lot. You could use a wagon and load it up and bring it back in pretty easy. Well, I can see the campground to the right of me over there where we came through. I don't know if there's anything on the other side or not. Oh, reach down here if I can. Oh, there's pine. Now that's I think that's a loblolly pine, longer needle, and it's kind of soft. So, yeah. I mean, probably back in the pioneer days, they probably used this as a broom to kind of clean things off. That's pretty cool. Part of nature. There must have been an armadillo over here, because looking at the ground where the pine needles are, and look like spots where they kind of rooted their nose in to see if they could find something to eat. It's pretty cool through here. Nice and thick. Water inlet to one side. And some thick wooded area to the other. Coming back out to the bridge to cross, because I can see the parking lot. And the boat dock and everything. It looks like some more campsites over here on this side. Looks like at least one of them looks like they have a tent pad there. I don't know about the others, can't tell, but I can see one tent pad. And right down through there. Looks like maybe three or four more campsites down in there. So, I don't know, I would say possibly maybe 10 campsites over here, maybe more. Oh, I guess it's a dogwood. It's really blooming. So let's see if I can't get this on the way out. Get a little bit closer. But it's really budded out. I have to come over here where the sun's to my back side. Might stand out a little bit better. Now looks like it's still pretty hard to see. Get closer here. It's definitely got some blooms on it. They're just starting to bloom out, so they'll get a lot thicker.